In the heart of Vienna, nestled between ivy-covered buildings and cobblestone lanes, stood the Hotel Grünwald. Elegant but aging, it was the kind of place where diplomats once stayed and faded jazz played in the dining lounge. Now, it survived off tourism, curious travelers, backpackers, and the occasional couple seeking old-world charm. Lena Weiss, a travel blogger from Berlin, arrived on a gray October afternoon. She was known for chasing the untold corners of Europe, places where history breathed through cracked plaster and creaky floorboards. The Grünwald was perfect for her series on hotels with secrets. She checked into room 305, a modest suite overlooking the square. The concierge, an older woman with silver hair pulled into a tight bun, handed Lena the key and paused. "If you're writing about us," she said, her tone hesitant, "stick to the east wing. The west has nothing of interest." Lena smiled. "Now that makes me want to see the west wing even more." By her second night, curiosity had taken hold. The west wing was dimly lit, with thick carpets that muffled every footstep. Half the rooms were boarded shut, the hallway ending in an old oak door. Room 313. Oddly, it wasn't on any of the hotel's brochures or maps. She jiggled the handle. Locked. Later, she asked the concierge, "What's in room 313? The woman's eyes hardened. "There is no room 313. But it was sealed years ago. Please don't go snooping." Lena was too seasoned to be dissuaded by mystery. That night, armed with a flashlight and a set of vintage lockpicks she'd bought at a flea market for a blog challenge, she returned. It took 20 minutes, but the lock finally clicked open. Inside, the air was stale. Dust floated in the beam of her flashlight. The room had not been touched in decades. A grand bed with velvet curtains stood in the center, an ornate vanity to the left, a cracked mirror above it. But what struck Lena most was a sound. Soft humming. A woman's voice, faint melodic, echoing as if from behind the walls. She froze. "Hello." The sound ceased. Suddenly, her flashlight flickered, then died. Panic began to rise. In the mirror's reflection, she thought she saw movement, a shadow gliding behind her. She spun around. Nothing. Then came the knock. 1, 2, 3. From inside the wardrobe. Lena backed away slowly, heart pounding. Against her better judgment, she pulled the wardrobe doors open. It was empty, except for a photograph on the floor. A black and white image of a woman in a 1930s dress, smiling on that very same bed. On the back, written in faded ink, Elena Grünwald, room 313, 1936. The next morning, Lena confronted the concierge. "You knew," she accused. "Who was Elena Grünwald?" The woman hesitated, then motioned for her to sit. She was a hotel founder's daughter, engaged to a Hungarian pianist. One night, she vanished. The fiancé fled. Police never found her body. Her room, 313, was sealed. The family said it was grief. Others whispered she never left. "People have heard things," she added softly. "You did too, didn't you?" Lena nodded. The woman looked around and whispered, "She's never hurt anyone, but she doesn't like to be forgotten." Lena published the story under the title The Hidden Hotel Room. It became her most read post. Months later, as new guests explored the revived West Wing, one couple staying in room 311 complained of faint music at night. Another heard soft knocks against the wall. And in room 313, still sealed but no longer locked, a faded voice hummed through the silence, remembering a love never fulfilled, in a room never meant to be found. Lena couldn't let go. Even after she'd checked out of the Hotel Grünwald and returned to Berlin, room 313 haunted her. The humming, the photograph, the feeling of being watched in the mirror, none of it made sense. And though her blog post had gone viral, earning her new followers and attention from travel magazines, something didn't sit right. That room hadn't just been haunted. It had been waiting. 3 weeks later, she returned to Vienna under the pretense of research for a documentary. But truthfully, she needed answers. She booked room 311, next to 313. The concierge, Frau Keller, narrowed her eyes when Lena arrived. "You shouldn't have come back," she said quietly. Something happened in that room, Lena replied. Something unfinished. That night, Lena laid awake, listening. The west wing was silent until midnight. Then, faintly, the humming returned, soft and mournful. It drifted through the wall, clearer than before. This time, Lena recorded on her phone. She played it back. In the background, beneath the melody, was a whisper, barely audible. She enhanced the sound using editing software she had on her laptop. The voice became clearer. Help me? The next morning, Lena convinced one of the maids to speak off the record. There's more than one secret, the girl whispered, eyes darting nervously. Lena Grünwald was pregnant. The family didn't approve of her fiancé. They called him a fortune hunter. She tried to run away with him, but she never made it out. You think they killed her? Lena asked. The maid hesitated, then whispered. There's a dumbwaiter behind the wardrobe. It leads to the old wine cellar. That night, Lena returned to 313. She entered the room with her flashlight and camera, her breath fogging in the cold air. She moved the wardrobe. Behind it, covered in plaster and peeling wallpaper, was a metal grate, a dumbwaiter shaft. Using her tools, she pried it open. The shaft descended into pitch-black silence. She lowered herself in. The dumbwaiter creaked with age but held her weight. After what felt like an eternity, she reached the bottom. It opened into a small, bricked room filled with crumbling crates, old bottles, and the smell of mold and decay. Then she saw it, a skeleton, curled beneath an old coat, hands clutching a letter. Elena's name was etched into the ring on the finger. Lena dropped to her knees. She didn't scream. She simply wept. The letter, though faded, was partly legible. I can't leave. Father found out. He said I'd ruined the family. He locked me here. I hear them walking above. He said they'll say I ran away. I can't breathe. The walls are so tight. If anyone ever finds this, know that I only wanted love. Please remember me. Authorities were called. The hotel was temporarily shut down. Elena's remains were properly buried, and Lena's blog helped bring international attention to the mystery. For the first time in almost 90 years, Lena Grünwald was named in the headlines, not as a scandal, but as a tragedy. Frau Keller gave Lena a final message before the hotel reopened. She's quiet now. The music stopped after the burial. You gave her peace. 1 year later, Hotel Grünwald reopened, freshly restored. Room 313 was converted into a quiet reading room, lined with velvet chairs and old books. A framed copy of Elena's photograph hung over the fireplace. But some nights, if you listen closely, when the fog rolls through the square and the clocks strike midnight, you might still hear a faint melody in the walls. Not mourning this time. Lena never wrote another story quite like it. Her experience at the Hotel Grünwald changed her, not just as a writer, but as a person. For the first time, her work had given someone a voice who'd been silenced for nearly a century. That meant more than any viral post or publishing deal ever could. Months passed. Seasons turned. The hotel thrived under its new reputation, no longer haunted, but historic. Tourists came to see the infamous Room 313, now a memorial library softly lit by antique lamps. Guests often sat near the fireplace, flipping through journals and whispering about the story that unfolded within those walls. Lena visited one last time on the anniversary of Elena's discovery. She stepped into Room 313, now silent and warm. On the mantel, beneath the photograph, sat a single white rose. Lena placed her hand on the frame and whispered, "You're not forgotten." As she turned to leave, she paused. Faintly, just once, there came the sound of humming. Soft, peaceful. She smiled. It wasn't a ghost anymore. It was a memory. And memories, unlike secrets, deserve to be heard.